What is up, folks? Welcome back to another live stream repair. Let's find Chris here before we get started. All right, I let Chris know. So here we go. Welcome back, folks, to another live stream repair. We have got Chris's second gen HomePod here. We took a look at this at the end of yesterday's stream, and if you missed it, what we've got here is a second gen HomePod with no power. We plugged it into our kilowatt meter over here and saw that it was pulling a surprisingly large amount of power, about 19 watts, before it drops down. We got it apart. We took our logic board and display combo here, and we put in a different one, and it turned right on. This was after we tried a different power supply. So it's not a power supply issue, it's not an amplifier board issue, it's a logic board issue. What's kind of surprising to me is also that it's pulling so much power that the main ribbon cable here actually heats up. You can feel it getting hot. So again, not something I've exactly seen here before. So we need to take this logic board apart, and that is going to be tricky because that is soldered on. That's just not glued on there. And I'm gonna double check really quick because I have a teardown of this. Let's see if I even got inside. That logic board on my first teardown of these things. Let's see, 2 years ago, February, wow, look at that, February 5th, 2023, we got our hands on our first second gen, and if I'm not mistaken, we were the first ones to tear one down and show the world. Let me see what I did to get that off. It looks like I just ripped this sucker right off. I didn't use any heat. Let's see, oh, did I use heat? Let's see what I did 2 years ago. We want to know your secrets. Yes, tell me your secrets, Nick. I feel like this is cooling the CPU because it's Oh, we still have our little nugget hanging out with us in my office here. Oh, it just comes right off. It just comes right off. It's not soldered on there. Yeah, it's just glued on there. We have to be bold, but careful. Okay. Let's see where the best way to pry this up. I don't see anything on the board here that we can break off, so this seems like a good spot to start. Yep, it just pops right off. That is not soldered on there at all. That is just epoxied. I gotta get the other side now. I think I should just go underneath like this. It's gonna be our safest bet. And just carefully keep pushing that through. Man, that makes me nervous. Alright, I'm gonna grab the flathead here. Oh boy. I don't like this. Can we cheat some of that off with a knife? Can we help it get started? Oh, we can. I think I have a better knife for this. Actually, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to cut into any traces. Let's see if we can't get this to break off here. Oh, come on. Not much harm in heating it up, I guess. Hey, that did it. Is that? Oh, wow, that's not hot. All right, we got that off. If we can fix this, I'll bother trying to straighten that back up, but we have gotten inside. That is a big step forward. Let me go grab my thermal camera and we'll plug this back in and see exactly what's heating up here. I'm gonna stick the fan on it for a second so it cools back down. And we'll be right back. Thermals acquired. Let's connect everything back up here. And by everything I mean I think we just have this display here. Display / logic board. I'm so used to the first gen, the display is a separate board from the main logic. Okay, swap our power cables out here so we can plug this in. Jeez, kind of nervous, I don't know why. All right. Yeah, 24 watts that peaked there. There's our culprit. I'm gonna stick my... Ooh, it's melting my tip. It's melting my freaking, wow, that's getting hot. I have never had a component getting so hot. Well, I mean, I guess it makes sense if pulling freaking 25 watts there. Well, I will be absolutely surprised if this is not fried from that. But we're gonna try here. We may as well. It's screaming at us, hey, here's my short. Fix me, fix me. How are we gonna do that if we don't know? We don't have schematics for this thing. What we do have is a logic board sitting over here. A spare logic board that I've had set to the side. It turns on, but it boot loops. So, you know, what are the chances that the cap right above it is also the same thing too? So, this is the one that melted my tool as soon as I touched it. Let's go ahead and pull it off and see if that's the only one that's dead here. I want to get this off first, actually. Maybe we can save that and reuse it. Okay. Oh no. Save that. Wow. That was a really close call there. Okay, let's see if our short is gone. No, our short is still there. We still have a short. What could it be? Oh, is this capacitor shorted? Or is it just getting real hot? No, that cap is dead. So I wonder if, I wonder if both of those caps died. Let's go ahead and pull the other one off. Alright, is our short gone? Oh no. Okay, so that other cap, that top cap was not shorted, or the cap itself wasn't dead. But we still have a short here. And I have a feeling it's probably going to be one of these two guys. That's just my gut, because that's, you know, these are the two ICs closest to those capacitors. Without a schematic, we don't have many other great options. Voltage injection is a thing, but we're not too experienced in those endeavors yet. Well, shoot, I've got a whole spare board here. I say we go ahead and pull those two chips. Let's see. I think it's going to be this one. I don't know what's telling me that, but I have a feeling. Oh, never mind. We got it. So, when we removed our shorted capacitor and we bumped the cap above it, we made the smallest of bridges from this pad to this pad. So we fixed the problem and created another one. But, fear not, it appears that we have fixed it nonetheless. fixed our short. Since we took that other cap off, and I already have it off, let's go ahead and take this opportunity to measure its capacitance. My gut says that these two caps that were here are the same spec. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna see what this good one measures, and then see if I've got anything sitting around that'll match. So I'm measuring 8.37 microfarads. Yeah, about 8.2 to 8.3 microfarads for that cap. What should we do? Should we take apart this logic board that still turns on and sacrifice that cap? Or should we... I think I have... I mean... Would this fit? No, look at that. That's way too big. You know, I wonder if I've got... I wonder if one of these amp boards has a similar cap sitting around somewhere. Let's find out. No. 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 We might not find anything similar on an amp. We might have to look at a logic board. My readings could also be getting totally thrown off by... Oh? Oh? I think we found one. Right next to the DAC on a first gen HomePod's amp board. This is just a parts board, there was no chance of fixing this one. But I found ourselves another cap. Another 8 something microfarad cap. Let me take that off this board here. Give me that. Look at that. Perfect size. Beautiful. We got pretty lucky there. Well, we'll see if we got lucky. We'll see if it actually fixes this. Oh, my soldering iron. I am so unprepared. It's in the living room. Okay. Some more flux, some solder, our pine seal iron, and a USB-C MacBook adapter. Seems to work pretty well for my pine seal here. Let's crank it up. If all this ends up being is a single shorted cap on this logic board, I mean, if you're asking me, I think that's where we'll get really lucky there. But I'm not sure if that pad's even good still. Ooh. It's pretty crunchy, but it's taken. Those are doing some interesting things there. Maybe? It's kind of sketchy. I don't know. I don't know how much I really like that. Let's go ahead and, well, should I try wicking that off? There's so much stuff nearby. I don't want to risk, scraping anything else off the board there. I've got leaded solder. They're on there. They are on there. One thing I want to see though is I want to see if they are connected to each other or not. Because if they're bridged together on this board and they're internally connected, I don't care. Yeah, they're connected to each other internally. So even if they're bridged together like that on the board, we're good. So, I think that means we can try this out. Can't lie. I'm nervous. Oh, we should check and make sure that the short is also gone as well. Yeah. Oh, buddy. Okay, so I think the only reason this wouldn't work then is if that short went to the CPU and fried it. We've got the normal power draw. We've got 1 watt of power draw from the wall with only a spike to 8. And of course we don't have our touch sensor connected, so we won't be able to see if this is actually turning on. We'll have to give it a second and use the magic words. Fair warning to everybody listening now on any speakers. I am about to use the magic words, so I do believe it's booted up now. Let's try this. Hey Siri. Hey Siri.
Mm-hmm. Good afternoon, Kira. How can I help?
I'm not Kira. Never mind.
Okay.
No sign. So let's unplug this. We're gonna give it a second, and we are going to connect our touch board and see if this is doing anything for us. Do your computer monitors ever make loud crackling sounds as they thermally settle in? I can't, I'll never get used to that. Okay. We've got our brief spike. It's back down to the usual. It's turning on. We fixed it. We did it. We did it! Our first second gen legitimately fixed. Not with swapping a whole board. Not with tape. But with a legitimate component swap. We found the problem, we replaced it, and it's resetting itself with no sound. That's kind of concerning. Do we have more going on here? Than we were first alluded to. Or is it not happy that it's all taken apart and greasy? Interesting. I've never seen that before. We're going to continue waiting, I suppose. There it's going again. It's turned off. I presume it's resetting, it's factory resetting itself right now, so it'll restart a few times here. Hopefully it comes back to us with fully functioning sound, and we don't have more issues here. Make sure that's plugged in all the way. We're just going to be patient with it. It's thinking, it's doing something. There it goes, blinking at us again. I have never seen, and granted I haven't played too much with the second gens, but still I've never seen any HomePods blinking like that. It's a very particular blink pattern, so I'm sure Apple knows exactly what that means. Let's see if that's on their website at all. They say if it's flashing white light, you unplug it and wait 15 seconds. Interesting. Oh, and there it goes. This is really weird. I gotta say. Pretty weird. Thinking. There's two possibilities. One, it fried something. The short, we fixed the short, but it still did its business. Or two, maybe we bumped something and don't know it. Oh, it's reset. It is factory reset now. Let's try this. Let's go ahead and just clear this and try it one more time. I'm gonna actually pull that chip that we bumped off as well and make sure we didn't like create a bridge or something under there. Something super silly. Oh, look at that, it didn't even really solder on there either. Yeah, we're gonna clean those up. Oh, that QFN is definitely on there. See anything? Oh, I see this. Let's get that out of there. I don't think that's supposed to be there. Let's see, is there anything that we are missing? No. It all looks to be there. Okay. Let us do it the right way here. Try and clear those pads up of that old yucky stuff. Wow, that one pad is really sucking up the heat. The one that was connected to our cap that was shorted. That makes sense. It was pulling quite a bit of power for quite a long time. So it's probably not in the best shape. It's okay, we will fix you. And I'm going to go ahead and take the cap from my parts board here and just make sure, since we've got it here. Actually, can I measure it on the board before I bother yanking it off? I can't measure it on the board. That is unfortunate. I'm gonna have to pull it to confirm. Yeah, I mean, I'm reading 9 microfarads on that one too, so chances are the one that we pulled and used as a replacement is the right spec. But here we go, let's put this stuff back on here and give it a second shot. Alright, like I said, it's okay that those are connected together. They're internally connected as far as the board's concerned, so... if this doesn't work, we might need to... I need to think for a sec about it. Think what our options are, but let's see if that at least changed anything. What's the FLIR phone I use for imaging? It is the Cat S62 Pro. You gotta make sure you find the right model to get the one with the thermal camera. Plenty of people out there selling these things not knowing that they don't have the thermal imaging model. It's getting old, but for an Android camera, or for an Android phone with the thermal camera, by FLIR built in, I mean, it's all right at everything it does. It's not excellent at any single thing it does. But that's kind of what I needed. I needed something that I could fit in my pocket and take with me in my car, and then you know, out in the middle of nowhere, take it out and start looking around and seeing what's getting hot or not. I imagine these are. I paid retail price for this when I got it. I paid a pretty penny for it, but I was able to justify it by saying I was going to use it for some work stuff too. But I imagine now, a few years after the fact, they are probably a fair bit cheaper. Maybe you can find a used one for a good deal. Let's make sure everything is as connected as can be here. Yeah. All right, take two. Oh, that's the wrong. That's the wrong power cord. That's good. It still turns on. Our fix is still fixed. Is the fix for first gens as difficult? Oh, absolutely not. We are in fixed and out of a first gen in like 15-20 minutes easy. We know exactly what's going on in almost all of those. This, however, this is a fairly uncharted territory for everyone, and us included. And unfortunately, it's still not working. Okay, that's my desk. It is factory reset, so it's already reset. It should be playing the setup chime, but does it even show up on my phone? My Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are off for some reason. Oh, there it goes blinking again. Something's just not talking right still. This is very strange. Let's see, what here can we... I mean, we could try a different ribbon cable, maybe that's the only other thing I can think of for now, aside from that logic board being damaged from its issues. Where can you send yours to be repaired? You can head to my website, nixfix.com. It's at the bottom of the screen there. And if you click on repair service at the top, that should bring you down to my mail-in address and my repair request form. All you gotta do is just fill out one of those repair requests, and I'll get right back to you. If you don't have a first or second gen, if you've got something else, I'm always on the lookout for things to try and fix. This, however, is a predicament. What do we do? What do we do? I feel like unless the ribbon cable here is damaged too, like maybe from the heat, from the power draw that it was doing earlier. I doubt that. We'd see something here. Right? Jeez, no mercy on these freaking ribbon cables. They give you the tiniest bit. Did I make sure the BGA chip was good? That's what I'm thinking. I don't think it's a whole BGA chip. I think it's just a QFN. Oh, someone's here to pick up their HomePod. I will be right back. Ooh, zapped. Okay. So, y'all want me to compare voltages and measurements here, eh? Let's make sure we don't have any other surprises. That all looks okay. No damage on other side of board. Yeah, that's the tricky part. I guess we should take this off, and I'm not expecting anything on this side of the board. It's just LEDs. Well, okay, we do have a few chips here, but Everything looks pretty good here. I feel like our problem is still going to be somewhere over where our problem that we found was. So let's go back in there. Let's get up close. Let's take that chip that I bumped off. Let's just double check and make sure we're not making any assumptions here that aren't correct. I mean, worst case, it was fine, and we can just slap it back on there. Best case, we were wrong, and we slap it back on there and it fixes it. But I have a feeling if this chip wasn't on there correctly, it wouldn't be turning on. Not necessarily sound issues. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's a real simple, that's a real easy jobber right there. There it is. Not much to really goof up there. That looks a lot like something for simply power delivery, as I suspected. Anything on the board itself? No. That all looks okay. Oh. Oh? Did I find something? Oh no, never mind. Never mind. I thought we were missing a component, but I was mistaken. That's just another pad for the thingy. Yeah, that's a real easy chip to deal with, at least. So we now at least know yeah, that's a weird pin layout. I keep looking at it thinking that there's a pad or something missing, but that's just the way it is. I suppose we put this back on there. Let's see, it's gonna go like that. And how was that aligned? It was, that's a pretty tight fit all around. Wow. It's just wide enough to fit the tweezers between. I mean, it'll mostly snap right back into place if we get it close enough. Okay. Did that go where it needed to? Oh, it did. Wonderful. Okay, well, that's the last thing that I can think I want to really spend the time on this for right now. We could, we could spend a lot of time on this. We could check for voltage readings. Resistance readings. We were desperate. We'd start swapping chips between this board and that board. But frankly, here's my gut feeling here at this point. I think that original problem, that short there, 24 watts of power draw straight into the logic board of all things, is pretty crazy. And in my experience, when working on the first gen HomePods, people tend to mishandle the logic boards and things still turn on, but lo and behold, no sound. So I wonder if I think that's the most likely scenario here is we fried the CPU, maybe something else, but let's we've done a few things here since trying it. We put a different ribbon cable on here. We haven't tried that yet, and we pulled that chip that we bumped. We double checked that and put it back on there. Maybe something was ugly underneath before we removed it, and it cleared itself as soon as we did that. Well, let's go ahead and just plug everything in and see if we've got any change in our behavior. And yes, we could spend a lot more time on this and check voltage readings and resistance readings across different pads and components between the one that we have here that turns on and this one here, but I wonder if this would let me try to reset it again too. Let's try that. Nah, same problem. We can take a peek really quick with the thermal camera. That's quick and easy enough here. I don't expect anything. It's turning on. I think our problem here is going to be a little more difficult than something we can spot on the thermal camera. Seeing all sorts of stuff light up and cool down. And see, we don't know what's supposed to get warm here. Let's see when it boots up what it's I'm gonna try and warm up here when it tries to turn the amp on. Speaking of which, do we have anything funny going on the amp here? One thing we haven't been able to confirm is if the amp works too. It turns on, but does the amp work? Or did our short here go backwards and affect something on the amp too? That's a possibility. There's a lot of questions here. There's a lot of time that we can spend continuing to diagnose this. What should we do? I've got 2 more second gens. I've got 3 more actually, but unfortunately, they all have some sort of issue. None of them power on. So I think, see, okay, we can't compare measurements between this board and this board because at this point they're both effectively working the same. This one boot loops. It doesn't boot up all the way. It boot loops, so it's only good for testing power. So for all we know, we'd be comparing potentially 2 boards with similar no sound issues on top of whatever's causing this to boot loop. I think that would be a waste of time, potentially. I really do not want to crack open another second gen and start mixing parts around. But, I think I'm gonna do it. Yeah, let's do it. Let's at least get ourselves a potentially good logic board here, so we can at least sanity check our amplifier and maybe point ourselves in a new direction. This one is clearly mine. I purchased it for parts. And it also does not power on. Sorry. Sometimes I have to pause for a sec if I'm talking while I'm working. Anyways, bought this for parts. Won't power on. We've already checked the power draw on this one. We did in our last stream. And it does not pull anywhere near as much power. It only pulls like 1 watt at most. So I have a feeling. I got a feeling. Where's my knife? Oh, there it is. I have a suspicion this one will be a perfectly fine logic board. And probably just like an issue on its amplifier board. It does not need setup. It should be playing a setup tone. There's definitely something wrong in there. Something wrong with it. Oh, and also I did check it shows the setup prompt on my phone, but if it doesn't play anything. No sound. Well, that's okay. It's pretty quick and easy to get ourselves another board here. I just kind of wanted to save these other second gens for their own videos. But we all know that means I'd never get to it, so. Dan. What is up? Welcome, welcome. I just think, and I've said it a few times, but I'm just filling in the silence here at this point. I just think with it sitting there and having as high of a power draw as that short was pulling, I think it fried too much, and it is a goner. Akin to the main GPU die on a 4090 getting shorted straight to ground. Okay. I'm gonna undo that connector and this one and just take this out because I do not want to deal with. I want to take apart as little of this as possible, basically. There we go. Got ourselves another logic board. I'll put this to the side. Probably don't need any of the rest of that. Get ourselves a touch panel so we can interact with it and get it to actually light up. And we'll have sound without the subwoofer plugged in, but we'll go ahead and connect that anyways here. Just for yucks and giggles. Alright, the exact same behavior on the kilowatt meter there. A brief spike to 8 watts, and then back down to about 1. After a second, yep, there we go. It's got to take a second to not connect to Wi-Fi.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. For more info, check the Home app.
I can't say I'm too surprised, but that's not, I kind of almost would have. Oh, here. While we're here, I'll go ahead and point this out. I'm gonna let this turn back on really quick. And then we're gonna turn it right back off. I'm gonna bring the microphone up close here for you folks, so you can get a good listen. Oh, and turn that gain up. So,
I'm having trouble.
we've got sound. Everything is on. As I've talked about before, all big HomePods, be it the first gen or the second gen, pop a little bit whenever they turn on or off. Whenever they go into their low power standby mode after about 10 minutes of inactivity, and whenever they're going from low power mode back to normal mode, getting triggered by the voice assistant or playing music to them, what have you. My point is, both first and second gens pop, waking up and going to sleep. And some people call me a liar. Some people don't believe me. Some people say they can't hear it. About half a second after I unplug this from power, you're gonna hear its little tick, its little pop that I'm talking about. I think I made too much noise there. We'll do it one more time for you. What was causing the high power draw? Yes. The high power draw was caused by a short across an 8-ish microfarad capacitor on the logic board. Unfortunately, we cleared the short up, but it is not producing any sound. It even factory reset, but it is not producing any sound. So we've taken apart another second gen to get ourselves another set of parts to start re-diagnosing what's going on here, and thinking maybe the short went down back from the logic board and hit the amp. But we have unfortunately just confirmed that despite getting their logic board turning on and the short is gone,
I'm having trouble.
ooh, that's loud. It does not have any sound whatsoever. So yeah, they click and take a little bit, waking up and going to sleep. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'm gonna turn my mic back down. And yeah, we're gonna take a quick break here for just a second, and we will be right back. Woo. All right. So so the amp doesn't get a chance to go into power save when you pull the power. Sometimes, yeah. Basically, we'd have to let it sit for like 10 minutes without messing with it. So. Okay. Shoot. I think... You know, and that's kind of strange behavior with the way that it blinks the SOS lights. Not SOS lights. It's what kind of blinking pattern is that? That is kind of strange. And these look, everything on this side looks fine. I don't wanna no fix it, but what else can we reasonably do here? I wonder. Let's go to iFixit really quick. Let's go to iFixit and see if we can find anything on the HomePod 2. List of components on the logic board. So we've got, if we're looking at it like this, our CPU, our power management, our Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are under here. And that's all they give us. There was something else that went a little more in depth. It was Tech Insights. So main board, we've got a 2-bit bus transceiver, 1 amp step down converter, buck converter, 2 input gates and voltage levels transceiver, LDO regulator, SPDT-RF switch, 2.4 gigahertz front-end module, Bluetooth, 3-axis accelerometer, capacitive. I'm basically looking for anything that might have to do with sound processing on the logic board itself. I'm hoping maybe I want to see oh, beautiful chip identification. I'll go ahead and link this in the live chat here for anybody else that wants it. That is, I don't know why that wasn't one of the first results that came up, but there it is. That is a pretty in-depth look. Okay, so what we have here is Failure to communicate. No. Actually, this will probably look a little better. Beautiful. Okay. So we've got over here voltage level translators, and then here the chip that we bumped is a 6 amp synchronous buck converter. So that is, that is definitely put back on there correctly. And then we've got a 3-volt regulator over here. 3.3 volt LDO regulator, I should say. Buck converter, EEPROM memory, power management, step down. Nothing that I want. Oh, what is this? Dual bus buffer line driver? What is that? What does that do? Does that have to do with audio? Three inputs can be driven. What is a, okay. Type of integrated circuit that acts as a buffer, essentially amplifying a signal on 2 separate data lines, allowing it to drive a higher load or travel longer distances on a circuit board. Why do I feel like that might... Where is that? That's the orange one. There's 3 of them, and they're over here. Ooh, this is a rabbit hole. That's for sure. Yeah, those are all the components that they've got. I am kind of stumped here. It might be a no fix. Well, okay, we do have now a board that powers on and a board that Well, okay, power's on and it has sound. So if we wanted, we could compare the two. I'm debating really hard about this inside. Do we go down that path? Just to find what? A different reading in some line that's connected to the CPU to go, oh well, I think it's the CPU that died. Or would we get lucky and maybe find something else that got damaged? Or shorted out? I doubt that. And we've already spent an hour and a half on it here. Plus the time that we spent on it on the last stream, which we didn't spend too much time on it. But all this is kind of convincing me to maybe stop now and cut my losses. Sure, we could spend a few more hours on this. And you want to see if the voltages on the caps are the same? You know, quick and easy enough to entertain that idea. We can try that. Oh, but I would have to take the shield off of this perfectly good logic board. I really don't want to take that off. This is a perfectly good logic board. Oh. Let's just think about this for a minute. Let's hang out. We haven't, you know, we've been on the grind here a lot, and we haven't just sat and hung out and just not worried about things for a little. Had a little chat. Let's drink a little. Let's think a little. Ponder. Maybe we'll come up with another brilliant idea. I mean, we got it turning on. It's. I'm taking it off. I'm taking that off. Oh no, we're doing it. We're doing it, dude. This right here, going to these depths, these lengths, buying more of these broken ones just to take apart and potentially just to break, just to try to solve an issue. But to me, there's just something about finding a problem and finding a fix for it. And not just that, but like being able to help other people with the same problem. You know, let's take a quick look-see here. Everything looks to be aging. the same. Oh, interesting. We've got a difference in the markings on the boards here between theirs and mine. What does it mean? Probably nothing. Will they be the same? Yeah, they're going to be the same. There's going to be no interesting differences between the two. But I do like to see it all. Where's this one? Where's the one for this one? Does this one not even have one? Oh, it does have one. And it's like mine. Huh. What does it mean? Nothing important. Let's get this off. I'm going to stop distracting myself and not putting that off. This isn't necessary as I've shown, but it does make it a little easier, so I'm just going to warm up that glue holding it down. Mark the good one. Yeah. Good call. Thank you. This is the good one. This is the one that restarts itself. And this is the one with no sound. Oh, that came off beautifully. Oh, buddy. Okay, let's go. It's not just a shield. It's a shield that's just glued onto the board. I'm being a total coward here. Like, it's not even soldered on there. You couldn't ask for an easier shield to remove aside from something that's, like, screwed or freaking double-sided taped down. Okay, good board. Board with no sound. Let's go ahead and measure our good board. First, grab ourselves a touch board so we can interface with this here. Because we can't just plug this in and take an immediate voltage reading. We have to interact with it. We have to wake it up. By default, these things boot up in a low power standby mode, so the amp isn't on. So it's possible we'll get a incorrect or false reading if everything is in a low power standby mode. We need the touch interface so we can wake it up from its standby mode that it boots by default into. That's the case for the first gens. I'm going to assume it's the same for the second gens. And it eliminates another potential question. Let's see. Mark the good one. Jeez. Y'all don't like playing the game. Get that woken up.
I'm having trouble.
Ooh, it's awake, that's for sure.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. For more info,
awake.
check the home app.
Shh. Silence. Alright. What have we got across our caps? $16 volts across the bottom one. $16 across the top one. I mean, I'm not surprised. They're both internally connected, so they should have the same reading. So we've got 16 volts. Let's go ahead and write that down. I mean, I'm probably gonna remember that. For some reason, numbers just stick in my head real well. That's the good one. Let's grab our no soundboard. Get our touch panel connected. Get our main connector connected. And this is going to be tricky because it's factory reset now. So what it's going to do is it is actually going to boot up in its normal mode, not low power / standby mode / the amp isn't actually on yet mode. So shortly after, however, it's going to go into low power mode. Not after 10 minutes, but much sooner than that. So we need to basically wait and see when this immediately starts pulsing. We'll flip it over and take our measurements before it potentially crashes and restarts or reboots itself for one reason or another and gives us a false reading. And that was quick. What have we got? 16 volts. Damn. The exact same. You know, okay, there's one other thing that we can do here. It's not much, but it will give us a little bit of closure here at least. I do notice that they have very kindly exposed a lot of the pads for this big board here. So basically what you've got here, this whole board with this chip and this chip, these are your CPU. This is your CPU and your power management essentially. And they're attached to this board, which is thusly soldered to our main board below. But it's not just plain old solder, it's a whole BGA, of course. You know, there's a lot of interconnects that they have to make. So what we can do is very quickly put our meter in continuity mode, stick it on whichever side of these caps is not ground, and see if any of them directly connect to these pins that I presume give us some sort of direct access to the CPU to determine maybe if that short went right to it. If we had a schematic and or a parts board that we were willing to totally tear down and expose the BGA underneath, yeah, we could totally easily trace out whether or not these caps are connected to the CPU directly and deduce our chances there from that. But as of right now, all of these boards turn on, and one of them is perfectly fine. One of them just restarts itself, and one of them has no sound, but they are all still potentially good for something or another. So we want to keep things in as working condition as possible and try not to take too many steps backward just for the sake of diagnosing things. Especially when we're dealing with hardware that we don't have too much of sitting around just to willy-nilly. Oh, it needs a new amp board? Alright, I'll just chuck another one in there and charge them the usual repair. No, these second gens are unfortunately a little more difficult for now, at least. Maybe one day Apple will do the right thing and sell parts and diagnostics information, but until then we're stuck here doing things the way that we do it here, which is, you know, buy a bunch of broken ones, sacrifice a couple of working ones, and start comparing results and swapping things, breaking a few things along the way, and maybe one day we make a breakthrough or two. We got pretty lucky with the first gens, but you know, this stuff is just getting more compact and more complicated as time goes on, and you know, everything follows pretty standard rules of operation and functioning, and, you know, totally different product, we can plug it in and pretty much straight away find where our short is and fix it. It's just unfortunately even though we can find the problem, we may not be able to fix it. Okay, so this side is ground, and this side is not. So let's see, do these connect? So I don't see anything on the positive side of these caps that are directly connected to these pads, but we don't know if these are all of the pads for the CPU. I mean, there's definitely a lot more than these. If you look at the teardown of the second gen HomePod and the one that removed this whole board here, there's a lot under here. There's still the very high likeliness that we have got that short that went straight to the CPU, and maybe it went back through the ground into it. I don't like that too. That's a lot of power to go into it. I think this is going to be a no fix. Unfortunately, we got really close. We got it powering on, but unfortunately, it just does not produce any sound. And we can't just replace CPUs and power. Well, we can replace the power management chip, but it's not a power management issue. It's turning on without a problem. And the reason why my gut says this is this is definitely an issue that we may not be able to fix here is because of I said this about an hour into the stream, but we have seen a number of first gens that people have tried working on where they were not able to, where they had no power. They fixed the power issue, and lo and behold, it had no sound. And it usually had something to do with the logic board. And there's something on here that seems to be particularly sensitive. I mean, in this case, again, 20 to 24 watts was going straight to ground. So we don't know how much, how many volts, but it probably was not good either way. I think, unless anybody wants to chat any quick and easy ideas in the chat there, we might call this a no fix. And, well, we'll give them a few options. I'm happy to make them an offer to purchase this off of them so that we can keep their parts and maybe find a fix for someone else's HomePod's issues in the future. Or we can put this all back together and send it back to them, and they've at least got it powering on now. But it's, you know, there's no sound. There's no sound. So it's a no fix. I think. I'm thinking. I'm gonna keep thinking for a minute here, and I think, and then I think we're gonna give up, and we're gonna go back and triage all the first gens that showed up over the weekend and today to get fixed up. Yeah, no, this is not the only thing that we had to fix, but I did want to sit down and spend a bit of serious, unfocused, and unbroken time on this and try to fix it. And, well, close but no cigar, as Weird Al says in the one parody song, Close but no cigar. Maybe this video, this live stream will help someone else find the same short on theirs and fix it, and they won't have the same problem, and they'll get lucky, and it won't have sound issues after they fix their short. That's all I can really hope for at this point, because we do not have very many no fixes here. So this is gonna be, oh, I don't like to tell people this, but I'm gonna have to tell them. I'm gonna have to tell him. Folks, I hope you all enjoyed this live stream repair. I hope to catch you all in the next one.